Okay, going into this game, is there anything that you already know, like that you want to be working on that you may not have like a good idea of how you need to be working on? That is really good for um your like skill bracket. That's right. Do you want me to go over and like let you know how you could have done or like set up the CS better here or okay. So right here you can like auto queue from a different angle. Uh so you only hit the front menu dash. And then it's gonna target this top one because it's the closest one. Yeah, it is closer. And then by the time like it targets this bottom one, you're either not going to be able to because this blue melee is going to start hitting it, or these blue melees will start hitting it, or you'll barely be able to get it in time. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get this one. Right. So it goes for minions, it goes cannons, and then melees, and then ranged. And then after that, it's going to be like whichever of that is closest. Good. Are you getting Discord messages on this video? Pretty sure it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so here you kind of panicked a little bit. It's like, yeah, I mean, mm, I don't think you would have gotten the one in front almost ever, unless you W'd it and then autoed it. If you W'd it and then autoed it, I'm pretty sure you get it actually. And then your next one would probably be the one on the left because I think this one would die before your next auto attack comes out. But as long as you like practice CSing, which you are doing, then you'll get the hang of it. And um, there are ways you can set it up so that the minions hit your tower in practice tool. One thing you might want to take into account in this matchup or in any matchup where they don't really have a dash is if you cage them and you like cage them pretty close to your cage, you might be able to get like your combo off and get a big chunk off. Though this is all right as well. I think generally in solo queue, if you're able to snowball by like getting kills, then you should do so. But that's not always going to be the case. So right here, I'm pretty sure you have the right idea. It's just going to take practice for you to like um, take it into action here. That's all right. I think you're a bit too focused on CSing right now, um, which is fine since you're pretty new, right? And trading. So, like I said, Heimerdinger doesn't have any movement abilities, and he's not really that fast. He gets a little bit of move speed around his turrets. That's like his passive. But if you're able to get in position where he can't really kill you, and like I kind of like right here, you guys walk into each other's range, but he has no mana. So yes, if you do look to cage here, and he walks into it, that's your like free damage. And you're also almost level 6. So if you get like him to maybe half or 3/4 HP, then you can actually kill him versus like on your next combo. Because if you don't do that, you can't really 100 to 0 him, especially with your items here. Yeah. What was your decision with corrupting potion? Hmm. I think for now I just try to stick to Doran's ring because it'll help you get used to um, CSing, especially with your autos. It gives you a little bit of bonus. It's a really good try here. It's also all right, like, to kind of step up. If you know the enemy champion's abilities and what they can and like cannot do through the minions, then um, you can kind of like understand what you can really do without taking that much damage. Sure, because that one steps up first. Yes, it is. So like, so you kind of like tanked it here, right? So you tank these two minions in the back, but this minion on the right keeps walking. So if I play it in like kind of slow motion here, it's actually the first one that gets into range. Like here, I guess is like the tower range-ish, right? Yeah, since you've never played it, or you haven't played against Heimerdinger too much, like, um, honestly, uh, just mute the chat and try your best to like fight him. If you die, then now you know what you can't do. Okay, because if you never try, yeah, if you never try, then you'll never know what you actually can't do and what he does. or you can like look up his abilities, I guess. So his W, right? The missiles. Those. Oh, okay, perfect. If you know his abilities, then the only thing that can really hit you through the minions is gonna be his like his E, right? And him hitting that on you isn't too reliable, just like how you hitting your spells on him aren't the most reliable. But if you're able to get an opportunity and hit your spells and he isn't, then it's harder for him to win in a fight than it is for you. If you like walk up and he's able to hit you. Like here, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's for sure. And he's got no mana now. In fact, if he was a little bit lower HP here, then perhaps you could flash on him, cage him, and since he has no flash, no movement abilities, he can't really get out of there, and you're free to like do whatever you want to him. Right. I was trying to say if he's a little bit lower health, right? Ooh, just stepped a little bit too far up. Yeah. So right here, this is actually really good for you to take this opportunity and like, but instead of ulting, um, yeah, you should have just autoed. In fact, if you autoed him and just like kept up with him, he has no flash right now. So you can just flash and then QR. Or in fact, your R is kind of like an execute. So let's see. How much does your Q do here? It does 252. So if you flash queued, it would have been really close, but not quite it. However, yeah, it's definitely a kill if it's played a little bit differently in like a couple different ways. One of which, like you said, you could have popped the corrupting potion. Uh, one of which you could have saved your ult. Yeah, it's just kind of stuff you like. You'll get more used to as you just keep playing and just keep trying to fight people. But it's harder to learn like what you can and cannot really do if you don't try. Yeah, in fact, if you feel like perhaps you don't necessarily want to try this like aggressiveness in ranked, you can just do it in normal games. You have not that much time spent into this game. I spent thousands of hours before like I was able to get out of gold. Yeah, exactly. So when I started playing ranked, uh, it's like no different. I just gotta play a lot more, figure out what my champ can and cannot do, until you get to a point like where you actually can start killing your enemies or pretty much by yourself. Then it's kind of difficult for me to tell you how like you could have played some things better. Yeah, I agree. It's good you recognize that. I think especially in like uh, lower divisions, right? You can really surprise your opponent, kind of like how you're not used to things. They're definitely not used to things either. So, um, one thing you can do here is you kind of canceled your auto, but that's because you didn't want to like uh, lose him, right? You didn't want to let him get away. So he actually has lower movement speed by than you by 30. So if you kind of just kept walking at him and autoed him, like you clicked on him, so his stats are at the top left here. So his movement speed is 365 and yours is 395. Yeah, that's exactly correct. I do actually. Um, there's quite a few things that I look at my minimap, one of which is like I look at really often. If I'm interested in stats, which not everyone is, I personally am, then I will click on someone. Most people, um, I feel like they base their judgment off more visual cues like items than just the numbers. So you can press tab and look at that instead. Uh, so like you do here, right? You could see what Pantheon has rather than just the numbers, and it might be easier for you to like determine, oh, he can actually one shot me. I also, yes, exactly. For Flash, if you have your camera on them, but you may not be used to um moving your camera too much around now, and that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. I always hold space. The only time like I ever not don't hold space is if I want to look at something. Have you tried clicking on your map before? Okay. Then yeah, that's one of the things that I do. Lots of people do use the hotkeys to look at your allies. Yeah. Um well, here's a pretty good try to get him in the cage, pretty close. But unfortunately, he had Phase Rush and Cosmic Drive, so he's actually going to be really fast. Um, After that, like the only thing you can really do is like you do here, use your effort Rust to try to catch him out. But um, unfortunately, it's like you're getting blasted by Pantheon as well now. So also Victor kind of has a range advantage. That is true. Your goal as Veigar is probably going to be to cage him since he has no move speed, or your team to CC him, and then you kind of just one shot him. You can't deal the damage he does from as far away as he does usually. In that case, when you're more burst oriented, sometimes you'll find in like when you're watching other people play the champs that you do, they'll be like hiding in certain spots and waiting for someone to pass by, and that is something that you may learn how to do eventually. Um, it's not necessarily exactly that. It's more so you predict where the enemy is going to be, and you be there before they are. Like it takes like maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead. It's like, okay, so if they think that I'm gone and I'm missing, what do they think I'm going to be doing, right? If they think I'm going to be recalling, are they going to push the lane? And then if they do push the lane, where are they going to go after? And then if you get all of that correct, then they come straight into you, and then you can just kill them. Um, so like, if you are mid lane and you go into this side brush here, you see this one? Then let's say their first reaction is to push the lane. Okay, so they push the lane. It's gonna be Heimerdinger. So since it's Heimerdinger, he's probably gonna stay in the lane and try to push your tower. And if he does, then can you kind of just come behind him like this and kill him? And if the answer is yes, then go for it. Yeah, so one thing that you could try, it might not necessarily work, but as long as you keep like this sort of thought process going, is instead of running over to the fight here, you see how he kind of just like is trying to push this lane, right? You guys are kind of doing all right fighting. So if you kind of just sat in that brush, you kind of passed by. Yeah, one way you could do that is pink ward, and another one is just like if they do have vision, what is the thing that he can do to kill you? Uh, if you are able to like, if they do have vision and he has all of his abilities up, he actually probably can one shot you unless he's like that far behind. Cause um, well, you want him to get kind of into range, right? So that you can kill him. Also, take note that if you were to do this play and you were to sit in that brush, he does have Zonias, so you're not gonna want to spend your ult immediately. You can like Everfrost him first, root him, and then press WQ. It's gonna do a lot of damage. After that, you can either E to predict his flash or E on top of him to stun him, to chain it. If he's stunned, then you can cast your ult. If not, then um, you can like go ahead, wait for your Q to come back up, and then Q him again. By that point, he's either low enough to die or he's gonna Zonias, and then you can ult after. Let me know if you want me to repeat anything too. So right here, you're pretty strong, right? Uh, if he didn't have his Zonias, I'd probably just say flash on him and kill his ass because, like I said before, you can probably take a lot of people here by surprise, and they wouldn't react to it. So, if you just flash on him, he probably wouldn't flash away. And you won't really know until you try where that will stop working. Like in what, like versus what type of players. Because I don't know. Well, I don't know if a Mumu has flash. Like, if a Mumu has flash, since you're kind of like, let's see, you're kind of in front of Victor's face too. So you can like, let's see, here you walk up pretty close. If you, instead of caging here, you walk up a little bit closer, let's say maybe around this stage, um, you still have like 20 more movement speed than a Mumu right now. Um, if you walk up to this line here, and then you flash to the Cannon Minion and Everfrost, a Mumu's gonna be maybe like if he keeps walking back, like over here. And then since Victor just used his spell, he's gonna be around the same spot. So you flash Everfrost. If you hit Victor, you can auto and then ult him, and then he's like almost definitely going to die. Um, because what's gonna happen is Everfrost counts as one proc. Uh, your auto is gonna count as another, and then Electrocute hits, and then your ult. He's already gonna be half HP. He's almost definitely dead from that. In my opinion, he's like 100% dead from that. And then you should still have your E up, and probably slow the Amumu as well, so you can like center your E on Amumu. You have Thresh right here. You probably can't fight back. If he does try to fight back, he's gonna queue into like your cage or something, and then you just kill that guy too. Uh, Victor, if you don't ever frost like in the center, or if he flashes it uh, immediately, then you're probably not gonna get it. But doing like flash, Everfrost, auto R can actually really come out really quickly. So here, um, he has his little bubble from Crown of the Shattered Queen. You want to try to proc that before you fight. Yeah, and since yeah, he's coming up on your ass, right? So you should try to recognize that your E is a little bit more unreliable than Everfrost, but E has kind of a larger like range than Everfrost. So if he's getting into your zone, then Everfrost him first, and then if you catch him by the slow or the root, then you can press E as a follow up. And then if you do hit both your E and Everfrost, he might actually die. As long as you wait for the bubble. But at this point, it's a little bit tough. Oh, he doesn't recast his R. Oh well. Yeah, you kind of have a bounty because your CS is so much better than all the other players here. If you don't know how a bounty works, good job here by the way. You probably didn't need to ult. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think your ult even connected. It says it did 1100 damage, but your electrocute did 277, and then this thing did 700. Looks like he's already dead. Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, it's good that we go back and look so that next time in a similar situation, you know that this guy with this amount of bulkiness just dies when you have this much HP or AP and like damage and stuff. So that you have your ult for like a fight close by. But comes back up pretty quickly. Not a big deal. Here it's a little bit rough that you have like centered camera. Did you stun that guy? I think he kind of walked into your cage. Yeah. That's no. I don't know. It's pretty funny though. It's kind of hard to see. Um, it's all right to like type to your teammates about what you want to do, but my advice is, yeah. So they don't like think like you do, and if even if you were to tell them how you think, then they're not going to play how you want them to within like the short time frame that you have in one game. Um, you can my best advice for typing, if you're going to type anything, is just to give information so that they themselves can like decide what to do with the information you give. For example, in higher elo, sometimes, yeah, sometimes people ping summoner, sometimes people time it, and then sometimes they say like, um, Kiana has R or something like that, right? Or Kiana has flash, and then whether or not your teammate dies is like on them because they had all the information that they needed to be successful, but they aren't successful. This right here, sure. So, well, it's really important for you to be alive so that you can like blast them, right? And I say that because it's actually not that important for some champions for you to be alive. Like, say Karthus, right? Or if you're playing a different champion, let's say you're playing an engaged style champion, you kind of do walk up and you run up and you engage. But it's more important for you to like try to um, stay alive while dishing out damage. So here, I wouldn't recommend walking up as close as you did. The first thing I would have done in your position would be to press W on these guys, these turrets. Um, Next thing is like, if you press W here, just try to avoid being in range of the Zamumu Q. Also, your E blocks all dashes, right? So if you set up the cage beforehand, then the only thing you have to worry about is the stun. He can't get onto you and then follow up. So you would have, if you had the cage set up, you did not see him, but it's safe to assume that he's in there because they started Baron. One thing you might notice is uh, it's not, not in my opinion, because they're actually putting themselves at a disadvantage by starting this if you are able to kill them, right? So like first first thing, I would W here. That would probably force these guys to try to run onto you. And if you like, you're one of the concepts that I guess is important later on is minion waves. Your minion waves pretty good right now because let's assume they do get Baron. If your minion waves are like slowly getting pushed in towards you, that's pretty bad because they're gonna have a really big Baron wave and you're not gonna be able to stop it. So right now, the only thing that looks not so great is your bot lane. But if you have the experience and the knowledge, you're gonna know that they're not gonna be able to get there in time unless they TP, and if they do, it's probably not that good. They can only get a tower. Here, like I said, if you did play the fight a little bit better, if it starts getting a little dangerous, then you can just back up, right? But um, it's pretty likely that you're able to play it well enough that they get off the Baron. Nice. Here again, you actually, it doesn't look like you need your ult. Your ult doesn't even come out before he dies. Or like, it doesn't even hit him before he dies. And it's fine. Oh yeah, it's gonna take some time. You keep playing more, and you'll, as long as you like ask yourself, did I really need to press R here? Does he die beforehand? Then you'll figure it out. A lot of people actually have this game like through feeling rather than knowing whether or not you need the ult. Right? Um, it's fair. We're only human. Oh, this guy's dead. Oh, got close. Something that you probably should look out for is whether or not they are building MR. So yeah, if you had Void Staff here, then uh he's dead. Oh yeah, he has Void Staff, so your MR is not as useful. Nice. Oh yeah, you do. That's good that you it's good that you notice it yourself because I try to tell everyone that it's best if you can start noticing these things by yourselves and like you come to me just in case, just for reassurance that you're going on in the right direction. That way you can improve even faster than if you were to like schedule sessions all the time because it takes time for me to go over and do these things with you guys. Yeah, overall here I think probably should have had voice staff. Uh Well, it depends on if your team can kill him or not. If you're the only guy who can kill him, right? Or if you're the only guy who is killing him, then might as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, it's true that it's better if there's more people building MR and then you get a voice staff. But if no one can kill him, then that's probably bad news. Especially in solo queue. Yeah. Did this guy use his W already? I feel like that guy would be so low if he had voice staff. Nice. Yeah. So wow. Wait, let me see that again. Your Banshee Shell comes right up in time for that moon queue. Yeah, it definitely not. If you took the inhib and then you started running away, perhaps. But you have to know that like Pantheon has ult. Amumu's gonna come back and try to kill you. So you only have so much time. Do you have vision? So you have vision of Pantheon recalling. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, your team was about to end the game. Okay, let's go on to the next one. It's all right. It happens to the best of us. Just like try to keep in mind that the more time you spend on typing, the less time you're thinking about how to get better. That's just that's just how I see it. And really the main thing about like getting better in this type of thing is just being retrospective. Uh saying, wow, I was really doing something wrong there. What did I do wrong? And if you can't figure it out, then always have an option to come to someone else and ask. One thing that you might not know, your E counts as an electrocute proc. You do know that? Okay, perfect. So, especially against a matchup like this, where they have no mobility, you can force them to either stay in the cage, try to dodge it, maybe get hit, or uh, if they're in the cage and they try to fight back, if you know how minion aggro works, then you can use it against them. So AoE spells like that won't let them aggro, but if they target you, like with Brandy, then they'll get aggro from your minions. Or like say if they target you with an auto attack. So if they try to fight back, yeah. So if your minions are in range, it follows a set rules for whether or not your minions or the enemy minions will aggro you or the enemy, of course. Um, one of these rules are if they aggro, or if you're in range and you auto attack or target an enemy champion with a spell, anything that's targeted, then the minions close by will try to hit you. You will notice that the minions that are trying to hit you will get like a little aggro icon above their head. Uh, yeah, if you see it right here, it says you auto attack this one. Do you see that little thing? That's the aggro icon. Okay, just making sure. And again, see how this guy is like walking really far out to try to trade with you? That's not necessarily a bad thing. It was a good job. You dodged his W. Here, like I was saying earlier, he targets you with his E, okay? So look how your minions start turning around to try attacking him. Good. See, if you abuse this, you cage him, he's going to take a lot of damage from minions. Though, 2 minions won't do as much damage as you want it. Exactly. Now, if you're able to do that again, like right here, you force his flash. Nice. So his flash will be down for 5 minutes. So it's going to be up at like 9 minutes, 20 seconds-ish. So you have a window where he doesn't have flash. And generally you want to be a little bit more aggressive so that you can abuse this window. So personally, I would have looked right here for an opportunity to get some damage in. Like he's walking up pretty far up. You cage maybe around this area as your center. And if he tries to walk back, he's gonna get caged. And then if he does get caged, you can auto Q and walk away. The reason you might do that. Oh yeah, so let's go back just a little bit. Your Q is up here, so is your W, right? You hit him with your W, that's pretty good. You don't hit him with your Q, it's fine. I'm just letting you know that if you think about it, it could be a good opportunity. It doesn't necessarily have to be the thing that you do. What you did here is actually perfectly fine, but being able to get the damage off here is kind of important because he's level 6. That's one way to indicate that you're going to be level 6 as long as you're keeping up. Or you can just look at your experience bar. You're about to be level 6. You have a little bit more burst once you get your ult. And if his HP is down to maybe here, then you can probably one-shot him. As soon like you proc electrocute once, it actually has a really short cooldown, between 15 and 25 seconds, depending on what level you are. And by the time your next electrocute comes up, it's like he's in range for you to kill him. Here again, he's being very like far forward. Yeah. This is pretty good. He's got no flash. You want to be able to net these kills without the assist of your jungler sometimes. Especially when they're being so disrespectful. So you have about like 2-ish minutes, maybe 1 or so left on his flash. You want to like at least keep that in mind, that he has no flash. You can cage him. He's got no mobility. It's harder for him to escape. Nice. Did he use his flash somewhere else? Oh, he just didn't give a fuck. Yeah, that's one thing that you'll find is that people don't have like the foresight that they'll die if they don't flash here. That's fine. Uh, you should be trying to like fight back because if you it does, but if you are able to see your map, no one can really come to help you in time. So yeah, that's one thing. I don't know if you knew if he had ult or not, but his ult makes him unstoppable, though like it makes it so he gets stunned after. But he probably could have killed you because it fears you and stuff if he has ult. So um, the threat, yeah, the threat of you being able to kill him usually deters someone from chasing you. So yeah, like you if you're able to land your QW here, kind of like chunks him to maybe this much, I assume. And you have electrocute up. Yeah, so if that stuff lands, especially your W, it's kind of a zoning ability because like without your cage, it's hard to land. Um, unless he doesn't, unless he ignores it and just like kind of walks through, then your W can be placed kind of like right here, and he has to walk around it. But if he just walks through it, the next time your two spells are up, he's dead. CC can like uh well you lose 50 gold for going into debt. You just have to like gauge for yourself uh whether or not you think it was worth it to lose 50 gold for this power spec. For me personally, I like move speed a lot. So move speed is pretty OP in my opinion because you can run away from people and you can catch up to kill them. So it looks like you have Relentless Hunter in your runes, right? Uh, knowing that most of the time when you're out of combat, you're gonna be faster than like anyone who does it, and most people don't actually run it. In my opinion, it's probably the most broken rune in the game, but especially for solo queue. But that's besides the point. Um, with this information, like if you're able to get the stacks up, you can kind of just run around killing people. Nice. Probably could have been a little bit cleaner, but that was pretty good. So getting kills, yeah. Move speed, especially getting kills, is OP in Sluggy because not only does it give you like gold advantage, maybe XP advantage, because they're dead and you're alive. But you get the kill XP and gold, and also they don't get the minions that you might get. Um, that's like the obvious part. But the, I guess, less obvious part is you demoralize them. And that's a real thing. Like, if you're blasting them and you keep killing them over and over again, they don't want to play anymore. I don't know if you like. Yeah. No, it kills are OP everywhere. Trust me. Especially in high elo, actually, because yeah, if you are blasting someone in a high elo, they probably feel so disrespected that you're able to like get 20 kills on them, even though they're like master tier. Like, am I? They start to question themselves. Am I even good at this game? For sure. So let's see. Take a look. Uh, one of the things you could have done is, yeah. Also, is there even a point of you walking up? Like, what are you trying to do here? Yeah. So platings are off, right? And plating is one of the things where you need to be near it to get the gold. Local gold. Let's see. Local turret gold. League of Legends. Just to get my facts straight, outer turrets are only going to give you 250. So this is going to apply to nearby champions of the team. Um, it's like 250 gold isn't worth you dying. Something like an inner tower, however. Where's an inner tower? Can I select it? We'll give 300 or 550 gold if it's top or bottom. Five, yeah. Yeah. So inner towers, this is like to reward split pushing. If you are split pushing and you're solo, you get that tower down by yourself. You get 550 plus the 50. And then if you last hit it, you also get another like 25, right? It's a lot of gold. Compared to this one, no gold, no gold, not very much gold. This can be worth it if you die. But that's something you might want to take into account maybe later on. Focus more on like whether or not you should be places and fighting, how to fight people, when to fight people. Even on Veigar, you might be able to see like I'm pointing out a lot of the mistakes that your enemy's making. You can kind of just kill them. Your champion scale is really good, like into the late game, but you can still kind of just kill them. Something that I feel like a lot of AD carry players in like lower divisions don't understand is if you just kill them, unironically, you will win the game. There's a lot of focus on, I suppose, playing the game somewhat correctly, where you see like pro players or high elo players, they like um, might not be every game where they get high amount of kills. Well, let's take a look. Let's see what happened here. So it's okay to be a little aggressive and to like learn that you can't do things. Um, that's something that I'm gonna like reiterate a lot, especially for someone as new as you. Um, take a look at your mini map. You should look at where your teammates are if they can help you, and where the enemies are. So there's like 3 people missing. Let's see is going on. Brand was just mid. Now you see 2 people bot. So at this point, do you really think you can kill both of them without dying? If you kill one without dying, you can kill one without dying. Is that what you think? I'm not trying to like uh yeah. It's pretty. Yeah, I'm like almost positive the only thing that makes me rethink it is this item here. She has Immortal Shield Bow, right? So uh with Lux also to W her, she might also have heal. So it becomes a lot more iffy. Yeah. If she didn't have these things, then yeah. She definitely dies in like one combo. Yeah. That like makes a difference on whether or not you like kill one and get out, or you kill one and die. Oh my god, you got killed by the brand passive. That's so sad. Okay, so you have to realize that if Hecarim has ult and you're walking up like this, he's gonna use it on you, right? So you have to play a little bit more wary of the enemy champion's abilities, and that's kind of just it from what I see. Uh, Something that you might want to take into account is they can't push without their minions. Um, Towers kind of don't take damage if they don't have. In this specific situation, yes. So what you do is you want to just press W on the minions, or you can like cage preemptively so that he can't just ult you, right? This cage, like maybe right here, as like after they kill your minions. Oh yeah, but what I'm trying to say is like don't necessarily walk up to him. So let's say let's say you don't walk up to him here, and after they kill these minions in your cannon, if they're still hanging around, then it might be difficult for you to kill those minions. Then, or like to walk up and press W. So you like cage preemptively, maybe around this area, so that they can't just walk up and try to kill you. And then you press like the minions will get stunned on your cage, press W, and then you walk back. And then they can't push anymore. Right here, they continue their push. It's kind of sad. You lose your inhib. Another thing is, let's see. Right here, like after you guys die, the next wave comes in. So let's say you do W the 3 range creeps, then you could use your E here to clump up these creeps. Or when I say creeps, I mean minions. Then to be able to W them and clear them. It just varies depending on the situation. Yeah, it's not a big deal, especially with Veigar ult because of how short of a cooldown it is. But if you're able to use it another time within the short cooldown, then it becomes kind of a big deal. So just be kind of like wary of situations that might pop up. It's okay to be safe and press it. Let's go back here. Let's take a look at what happens. So, yeah, good job killing the Lux. I'm not sure what's going on here. Why'd you kind of like... yeah. I think you have to realize that your champion is kind of like an artillery type of deal. So you gotta kind of stay like mid to far range and outside of anything that they can like blast you. Yeah, that's the main thing. So Hecarim CC is one of the like big factors this game of why you're getting killed. Not necessarily even his damage, him fearing you and knocking you back. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Once you realize how like impactful that is and start respecting it, you'll probably be doing fine. That guy dies right here. This guy, as soon as he turns around to kill you, you press Everfrost on him. Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. You've been having a problem with Hecarim, right? So, look how much MR he's building. Yeah. You might want to consider buying Void Staff because you're the one who's hitting him. Although your Vayne does shred him, right? You can't always rely on Vayne to just kill him. And that's the unfortunate reality, even though this is a team game. And it's like, you might understand that Vayne's good at killing Hecarim, but sometimes you do what you gotta do. Especially when Vayne is dead. Yeah, that guy kind of tanks you. My god. Oh, what happened here? Oh. Yeah. BW gives you vision. So, yeah. Also, your Q kind of does in a way too. If you key something, yeah, if it gives you plus AP, then someone's there. Oh yeah, that's a good indicator. Nice. Yeah, for sure. So here, you go for like the ulti, which is not necessary and doesn't really get you killed. But yeah, you couldn't because he died too fast. I think if you had your cage up instead of using it here, then it would have been a lot nicer for you to not only kill them but get away. Um, the it, like not always something that you'll be able to know. Uh, I'm not too sure if walking out there really does anything like bad. You probably would have died to Hecarim anyways. Probably. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I'm trying to gauge whether or not Hecarim knocking you back into his team, like, would have done anything for your team right here. So even with my millions of hours of playing this game, right? Let's see. Like right here is when you could have started walking this way. You take like I guess 2 steps forward to try to ulti. He's still gonna try to come behind you, but I guess it takes a little bit longer. You could start walking right here towards your team, but no matter what, you're gonna be knocked back like into the wall. I don't know if Tryndamere has his E up. If Tryndamere doesn't have his E up, then you might be alive. Because this Hecarim doesn't actually do that much damage. He doesn't have a very good. Yeah. I think overall it's really good what I'm seeing for the amount of time you spent playing this game. That's a little messy. Yeah. So your abilities are really low cooldown right now. Um, yeah, you kind of just start blasting them. Another thing is you kind of like left Vayne to 1v1 Ashe, and it's fine. But there will be some situations where it won't be fine. So, oh yeah, just try to keep that in mind. Like, if you did recognize that he had Lulu with him and like all these other factors that will give him the advantage, then sure, it's all right. But yeah, just be aware of what can happen if like it won't always be fine. Let's see. Another thing is I've noticed that what is your main use of TP in the late game? Yeah. Hmm. It's sometimes harder to do that depending on like what champions you're facing in the game and um just like whether you're not how fed you are, whether or not how fed those champions are. Let's take a look. Well, you kind of did right here, actually. You've had vision that he's on your red buff this entire time. You see Tryndamere's also coming down bot side. You see, like, yeah, your Lulu and Vayne are like running away from him, and then you kind of walk into him. Yeah, if you're like, if you're prepared, you can actually, uh, you can probably flash. So right here is when you flash, because if you wait any longer, then what? Yeah, so the spectral riders or whatever that deals the damage, pops your banshees, and then this ending phase of his ulti is what CCs you. Unfortunately, Hecarim's ult is gonna be one of those abilities that is able to, like, if it hits you in the right way, pop your banshees and CC you. There won't be too many of those though. Yeah, it does if only the end hits you, but you probably didn't know that. So, that's like all we can look at, really. So, the main things that I really want to take you to take away from this session is going to be like try out like fighting people more often. Um, it could be like normal games, it could be whatever. Just try to have fun with it, like try to kill people. If if you can play with a bunch of your friends and like if you're not having a good time because you kind of ran it down because you're trying to kill someone, then you can just go on to the next game. Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, that's kind of better for you ish because you don't want it to be too hard where you can't compete, right? But um if you're able to kind of like keep playing against these better players ish in your normal games and you're able to start solo killing them, especially like on your main champion, then that's gonna be really good for you. You take that into ranked, you're gonna start smurfing, like actually just killing people left and right, right? Hmm. Yeah, I can see that happening to a lot of people actually. Don't be afraid of dying. Uh, it, you should like dying is bad, right? You should know that dying is bad, but you should try to fight them and win. You get to a point where you do win, where you're not the one who's dying, where the enemy is dying. All right, I'm gonna end the recording there. Thank